This disclaimer was copied without permission.
Cheers, quaffers, guzzlers, swiggers, sippers, and all of the good people out there. Hopswatch here, and today we are testing this Carlsberg's relatively new invention, the six-pack, which is glued together without using plastic. But first, a bit of general info on the brewery, Carlsberg Group. A further introduction is hardly needed, since this is probably the best beer in the world, as you have probably heard. Yeah, fat chance if you watched my last video, where I compared their premium lager to Budweiser and concluded they were of pretty similar low quality, yet not exactly fucking close to water. I mean, credit where credit's due. Today it is by far the largest brewing group in Denmark and the fourth largest in the world. Also, it is one of the oldest yet in existence in Denmark. It started in 1847 when Jacob Christian Jacobsen, still with the Danish pronouncement, get used to it, started producing beers in the town of Valby, just outside of Copenhagen. He was an admirer of his contemporary Louis Pasteur and allegedly was inspired by him to build a laboratory with the intention of producing beer on a more scientific basis. The lab leader, Emil Christian Hansen, was able to isolate the yeast species Saccharomyces pastorianus, often called Carlsbergensis, in 1883, and in the isolated form it had a number of advantages. It worked at lower temperatures, where the risk of other infections was reduced. The beer tasted less of yeast, partly due to the fact that it would sink to the bottom once the fermentation process was over, hence bottom fermented. The beer would smell less of smoke, and it exploited the carbohydrates in the malts more effectively. For these reasons, this type of yeast became immensely popular and is still in use for bottom fermented beer in its isolated form around the globe. So well done, Carlsberg. Credit where credit is indeed due. However, half a century or so later, it pretty much went downhill. In 1964, the Elsinore-based brewery Vibro was taken over by the now pretty dominant brewing group. 6 years later, it fusioned with Tuborg to form the industrial giant De Forenede Bryggerier, or United Breweries if you like. In 1987, any reminder that the corporation was consisting of more than one company was done away with, as it was rebranded Carlsberg AS, that is Carlsberg Incorporated in English. In the meantime, in 1979, new brewing facilities were opened in Fredericia, more than 200 kilometers from the company's birthplace in Copenhagen. By 2008, the whole production was moved there out of Copenhagen, leaving only the experimental micro-branch of Husbryggeriet Jacobsen in the original production compound, along with the company's central administration. The original historical compound, well worth preserving, is now quickly being demolished and rebuilt as dull office and business buildings in glass, concrete and steel, along with extremely large and even more extremely expensive owner apartment complexes, also in glass, concrete and steel. On top of it all crowns the Niels Bohr Tower as an upright post-industrial Minecraft-style dog poo, finishing the image of a cultural and economic pearl of Danish business history being completely gentrified into oblivion. So recently, trying to brand the company as an environmentally sound corporation, Carlsberg came up with a new way of arranging six-packs. Instead of using six-pack rings, or as has become custom in Denmark, wrap them completely in plastic, the cans are now glued together with only the handle consisting of plastic, reducing plastic consumption with about 76%. Now, let's see if this little drop of environmentalism is not causing new issues. First of all, that it's not making it much more difficult to release the cans from the six-pack. There's still a bit of plastic here, but admit it, it's not the six-pack ring and it's not the whole plastic bag that is usually used here in Denmark. For some reason we're not using the six-packs rings anymore. what I'm going to do here, I'm going to test this 6-pack against another 6-pack which is bagged, as they usually are here, to see which one comes out most easily. So here goes with the Carlsberg 6-pack. Okay, that wasn't so easy. If I had arthritis or something like that in my fingers, I would not have been able to pry that out with my hands only. As you might see, I'm relatively skinny, but I mean, this wasn't easy. Let's just keep it at that. Also, the glue comes off relatively easily. So I guess it would not be a problem when you have to recycle the cans. And I hope this is somehow dissolvable. I hardly believe it would be dissolvable in water, but what would I know? I'm not a chemist. Okay, so this was fairly hard to release. Now let's bring in the bag, the 6-pack bag, and see how that goes. Okay, so I brought another 6-pack. This time it's Tuborg Classic, another Carlsberg product. Notice that until now it's only the premium beers that Carlsberg want to be environmentally correct with. All the other brands are still packed either all in plastic or in 6-pack rings. Come to think of it, I actually believe that the reason why we are not using 6-pack rings in Denmark is that the supermarkets like to sell these in packages. They don't like people to split the beers of the 6-packs to be sold individually. They want to have them sold in 6-packs as 6-packs, and often you wouldn't even be able to buy them individually. That's capitalism for you, I guess. So now I'll have a go at the beers in this packaging and see if it comes out more easily. I would definitely say that was more easy. There's a bit of fiddling with the plastic here, but the plastic rips relatively easily, and once it's ripped, the cans just come out. You want to rip just a bit more here. It's not difficult, and you'll have more beers coming out. So this is not for making it easy, definitely. Environmentally more sound, credit where credit's due, but this is not going to be easy for people who have arthritis issues, well, strength issues. This is not making it more easy to get at the product. Well, you think I'm going to drink this now? Maybe in another video. For now, the only thing is to say that you can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, I am on Twitter, and I've got a YouTube channel, which you might have already discovered. Always remember to drink responsibly, and until next time, cheers! For better or worse, I am recording this a bit later than the rest of the video because I found out that I was actually doing it the wrong way. So I have the rest of the 6-pack here, and there's more than enough to show how this is actually done. What you need to do first is to remove the plastic. It goes off here. There's a little tab here where you can actually pull it off. That goes off. That actually takes some effort, however. There we go. Away with that. So that's the 24% plastic that is still remaining. Could be great if they could get rid of this as well. And I was thinking, why not replace it with cardboard or paper or something? So what you are actually supposed to do is to hold the 6-pack like this and crack it like this. and it actually comes off very easily this way. And what we were supposed to do then is simply roll the cans off, or drag them off this way, and that goes fairly easy as well. Yeah, they actually come off quite easily this way, I have to admit. So no, it's if you do it correctly, if you aren't stupid as me, it's actually not that difficult. It is actually comparable to the plastic bag after all. Not much more effort is needed to crack this. So it actually seems like a good idea after all, and I'll admit that not all that comes from Carlsberg is necessarily bad. What is, however, worrying me is whether Carlsberg will be patenting the invention, making it unprofitable for other brewing groups to do the same. Articles on the subject imply that they will not, but I want to see this innovation used by other companies before I stop worrying. And does this innovation make up for gentrification, the closing down of sound industries, and brutal centralization of production? Not by a long shot. Carlsberg still has a long way to go to make up for the damage that they did to Danish brewing culture and for the applied unethical business methods characterizing the brewery today, as opposed to the earlier days under the slogan Laboremus pro Patria, or We Work for the Nation. Nowadays, the slogan, with or without plastic wrapped around the six-pack, ought to be Laboremus pro Pecunia, given that money grabbing is still more than anything else what the board of Carlsberg is thinking of up there in their ivory, well, Minecraft dog excrement tower, I guess it would be. Well, as one of my favorite YouTubers always say at the end, that's all I've got for you. Want to find out who? I'll be linking to him in the description. Check him out. He is really cool. Always remember to drink responsibly. Until next time, cheers.